So today I've got this Oppo phone which I'm going to be trying to fix. It's got a smashed screen on the corner there and here. I haven't tried powering up yet. I suppose we should try and do that, should we? See what the screen actually looks like. If it even powers up, I don't know. I've had it for a couple of weeks. Could be the battery's flat. Yeah, completely dead. We've got to take this thing apart. I haven't done this particular phone before, but these sorts of phones are usually very similar. You just take it back off and then take some covers off inside, remove some flexes, then you take the screen off. That's usually how they're constructed. They're all very similar, with variations of the same theme. So we'll get started by getting the back off. I've already taken the SIM tray out, you have to do that first. So as you can see, it's got some damage on these corners and stuff like that, and these edges that could make it a bit tricky to get it back together again nicely. Now what I want to do is get inside here with this little metal spudger and get it started. And then once we get the metal spudger in there, we can try and change over to a plastic one, because that won't damage the edges. The metal one can. There will be glue behind here. So I haven't done this particular phone before, so I'm not quite sure what I'm dealing with yet. A bit of IPA just to help release the glue. Okay, if I can try and get one corner started, I'll get a plastic one in there. There we go. That's probably enough. There we go. Plastic one is in. Just use this one now. Sometimes you have to go around a couple of times. There we go. Get through the adhesive. Now you've got to be careful around this area because you've got flexes up here. There'll be flexes up here somewhere, so you'll be careful about those. So I'm getting close to where the flexes are, so I'm going to pull out a little bit and try and angle it so it doesn't catch the flexes. Okay. Now you might be tempted, now you've got most of it off, you could just like peel the thing off, but what you actually done is you could damage the back panel. So I'm still trying to just use this to work my way through that adhesive and get off nicely all the way around to make it easier to pull off. This little spudge I'm using here, it usually comes with the screen replacement kits. I've got loads of these, and if you don't have one and you don't get one with the screen, then you can always buy them individually as well. You don't have to use this stuff. You know, you can always use something else as long as it's plastic. And I've got things like these as well, as like this could also be useful for this right now. I'll get that right under there and cut through the adhesive and stuff up here. Right, there's adhesive up here around these cameras. Okay, just trying to cut through that with this one, but I can reach it. And sometimes these little ones like this are also easier because they're thinner. You can get right in there. See? Now again, be careful about flexes. Right, so that might be good enough now to lift it off. We shall see. So go down here. Just trying to lift it gently. Just about there. You can see the flex there. Might be good enough now. Just this corner. There we go. Alright. And there's that flex I was talking about, and just here. That's why I'm saying to be careful in that area. Sometimes you take the frame off, sometimes you just get the screen out as it is. Now, what I'm noticing though, the battery is on top of the screen. Now, often the flexes will come up and go over sort of the battery and then go onto this board. In this case, it's going underneath the battery, which means I'm probably going to need to remove the battery to get to the screen flex, because it looks like that's the flex just down here somewhere. So could be a tricky one. So I'm going to take all these screws out. Now usually they're the same length, but they're not always, so always organise them just in case they are different. I've magnetised the screwdriver so it makes it easier to pick them up, and just lay them out on the panel like you can see I'm doing here. So I take them out and lay them out so that this is also a magnetic plate. Makes it easier to keep them in organised fashion, without rolling around all over the place. So I'm going to take all the screws out. I think they are all the same length, but organise them anyway, just in case they're not. So I might have to check this one really closely, see if I have to remove the frame or whether I can just take panels off. I think it looks like I'm going to need to remove the frame. Okay, it's looking like that. Take the screws here out. You get little screwdrivers that come with these kits usually for the replacement screens. I've got one sitting just here. You can use those if you want, but I've got this one right now, which is just a bit easier to use for this many screws. If you don't have a screwdriver which is better quality, then use those that come with it. They're perfectly adequate for a single time use. These also aren't particularly high quality, but I've had these for years and they're really good. The tips are still good condition on them, and they fit these screws really well. Right, so that's the frame part there. It's unscrewed by the looks of it. I don't think there's any more. Oh, is that one more there? There's one more there. Just next to the camera. Okay. So now I think I need to try and get this frame lifted up. Right, so a little trick I've got for these, to get these started, is to shove one of these in here. You get the casing just popping out a little bit. You only shove it in a little bit, don't shove it right into the port and break the port off. Then you get one of these and just shove it in that edge, and you can get started. Okay. Here we go. Once you get to a corner, you're all good. Now you've got to come down this side, not this side again because of flexes and stuff like that. It's fragile stuff on the other side. So they come around this side with it. I'll do the other side last. Right. Here we go. That should now probably just pop up if we're lucky. Unless I've missed another screw. Is there a screw hiding under here? There is a screw hiding underneath that dot. Here we go. One more screw. Then we can unclip that. That gets that frame out of the way. Unclip the battery. Now, like I said, I'm not sure how this screen is connected up here. Pop this off. Another flex there, goes down to the charging port. Pop that off. So I think I'm going to have to pull this battery out. So I'm going to shove some IPA down the side, just to help soften the adhesive. Then we get the pull tab and we'll hope for the best. Now, a couple of things can happen here. The pull tab will rip off or the battery will lift out. Let's see what we end up with here. It's starting to come up at least. Let's shove this under there. There we go. Just trying to be careful about the flexes. Here we go. And there's the flexes down there. Right. So it looks like that flex there we don't actually have to lift because that's going straight to that logic board there. There's only this one here we have to worry about. So that's good, we can put that back down. So this bottom board we can ignore then. So I need to peel this back off this side so we can get this flex off here. Let's see if we can do that, shall we? Again, we'll be careful. I mean, obviously this flex I'm not so worried about, but the whole concept of not damaging flexes, because you could always go too far and end up damaging this flex, so be careful about that one. Stick some IPA down there, help it release. Hopefully. There we go. That's it. So they can pop off the screen. USB-C charge cable, which is a bit short, but it'll make it. I'll come back once I know for sure. Oh, there we go, we've got a symbol on the screen saying power. Great, the screen is at least powered. We can't check touch, but this far is looking okay. So I just peeled this up and peeled off the little label that goes over that hole, stuck on the battery, don't lose it. Now we can try and get the screen out. A bit hard with the battery flopping around. I could take the battery right out, but it's probably going to be okay. So let's just see how we go. Let's try and get into this edge. Again, I'm going to use a metal spudger to start with, and try and get it started. Once we get started, then I can try and swap out to a plastic one. Alright, that's started. Bit of IPA in there. Okay. Change it out to a plastic one. Oh, lost it now. There we go, got it back. Now, because this screen is broken in multiple places, it's going to be a bit hard with the glass breaking. Might have to start in a couple of places at once. I might have to start this other corner as well. Let's put some IPA around this corner, this edges, help them to release. Right. So in the neck corner. Here we go. It's coming out nicely. Perfect. Watch out for the camera, don't damage that. Come up here with this metal one because of these bits of glass here. They don't want to come off. The reason I use a plastic spudger where I can is because it reduces the chance of damaging the actual plastic frame. But sometimes you have no choice but to use a metal one to get behind it. Okay, it's looking pretty good there. Let's see if we can peel it off. Make sure this flex is moving. There we go. Relatively painless, that one. That wasn't too bad. You need to clean up this frame, get any bits of glass out of it, any bits of glue residue, which are lumps. Get all that nice and smooth. It must be dead flat, otherwise you'll damage the new screen when you put it in. So I've just got this tweezer here. It's going to run around the edge and just scrape it all. Get any bits of glass out. Try and scrape up the old adhesive, that kind of thing. We want to try and get rid of all that stuff. We want it to be nice and smooth with no build up in it. So this screen wasn't actually too bad to get out, so I'm not too worried about cleaning this one because I think this one's actually pretty good. It obviously needs cleaning still, but it's not going to be a challenge. Sometimes they're a real pain to clean because they've got bits of glass stuck to the adhesive and stuff like that, so it's all stuck in there. It can be real hard to get out. But right now this one's actually looking pretty easy. So I use this cotton bud to go around as well, so you got a little bit more off. It's okay now. Let's get the new screen. Put the battery back out of the way. Let's see if that's going to fit in there as it should. Just to make sure it's actually going to fit inside the frame correctly. In case there's any issues we don't know about. To see if it feels right. I mean, the frame is slightly damaged, so I might have to do some trimming, get that nice, but yeah, I think I might have to do a little bit of trimming just around here. Got this ready, taking that sticker off the back of that, and we shall run some adhesive around this edge. We know it's going to fit okay, so we can glue it in now. So let's run adhesive around. try and get into this little slot that's on the side, and hopefully not over the outside of the frame. Sometimes it's a bit tricky. This glue will actually rub off the outside, so if you do get some overspill, it doesn't actually matter. I also like to run some up like this, just to give it a bit of a adhesion point in the middle. Let's get the screen in. Okay, make sure there's nothing on the desk, and then I'll put it face down. And just give it a bit of a bedding in like this, to give it a chance to bed into where it's supposed to sit. So it's really important you actually make sure there's no bits of debris in the edges of the screen, like the actual frame, like I did before. You know, checking all that stuff. Obviously on the desk when you're doing this bit, because you don't want to accidentally push on something, correct pressure point, and have it fail because of that. Alright, I'm going to let this go off for a few minutes and then I'll come back. Put the screen's back in there now, so we can refit all these bits. Make sure the connectors are on. So I haven't put the battery back on yet. Do that bit last. Set that down so it's going to be ready to go. Just hold that cover in. Let's attach this. Okay, that's in, that's in, that's in. Let's plug in the battery. Okay. Let's flip this over. Fit the frame on. And we'll put the rest of the screws back in again. So that's all the screws back in again. I've got the charging cable plugged in because I want to test this thing as soon as I can. This adhesive around the edges is kind of okay, but I mean it's still sticky, but I'm going to put a bit of adhesive glue down just to catch it in the bits where maybe it needs a bit of help, just to ensure it does actually stick down, not end up lifting or anything anywhere else. On that corner, because that corner's a bit dodgy. Alright, there's a few bits around, because the main adhesive is still there. I just want to belt and braces kind of thing. Alright, make sure these are clean. Yeah, they look good. No dirt in there. Checking those. Oh, it's vibrated, so it's just turning on. Okay. Let's stick this down. Try and get it bedded in like it's supposed to be. Try and put a bit in. Yeah, it's in. One of the bits I was worried about is this corner here where the damage is. Wasn't sure if that was going to go in nicely or not. And also this other corner here, there's also damage. Anyway, run around the edges and hope for the best. Oh, it's booting, that's good. Password is required when the phone starts. Okay, I don't have the password. Let's reboot it again. Battery's too flat. That's fine. Let's leave it to charge up. Well, right now the phone is boot looping, so it's booting up, getting to that password screen, and then shutting down, rebooting again. I don't know because the battery is just completely flat, whether maybe the battery is completely dead and it's like needs replacing. Not familiar with this sort of phone, like I said, so we'll see. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it charging and hopefully it will come right. Otherwise it might need a new battery, because it could be it can't supply enough current when it's trying to boot up, and so it's dropping off. But I'm hoping that with it charging to some degree it'll come right, but don't know, the battery could be fried anyway. It was completely dead when I got it. So it's not boot looping now, staying powered up, so I think then once the battery's charged up enough it'll be fine. So I'm just going to leave the thing on charge for a while. Hopefully it comes right completely, and I don't have the passcode and stuff, that's fine, I'll get back to them as they are. They seem to be working. That is working. Well, that's a bit slow because it's probably the battery. It's probably struggling to work at all. So, I mean, that is working. Yeah, touch is definitely working, so that's fine. The problem is, I can't turn it off. That's the only trouble with this. Once you do this, you can't turn them off again because you need the passcode to turn them off. Oh, push the right button. Yeah, so that's on now for a while until I give it back. Anyway, I'm going to charge it fully up and we'll see how we go. Other videos to watch down below there. Subscribe over there, right there somewhere, and petrol sport link over there if you want me to buy a test gear to fix. I'd rather be fixing test gear than phones, so if I had some more money I could buy some more test gear, do some more videos about broken test gear so I can fix the things. I do have some stuff coming, but I'm not doing as much as I'd like to.